I'll start with the first question. You've taken around over 30 companies public. You pioneered SPAC long before it became mainstream. So for founders, particularly, let's say in biotech, why is now one of the most exciting times to consider going public?
Nasdaq and Hong Kong Stock Exchange has a large number of biotech IPOs, and that's because it represents a big part of the future. So a lot of companies are already public or are going public on Nasdaq and Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Well, you have to be it takes longer time for Hong Kong listing. So our focus right now is on U.S. listing, but some companies have their own reason to not go to the U.S. Like, yeah, okay. So the company needs to have a good technology. Ideally, have a strong team and connected with some well-known institutions, and they have to have enough resources to pay for the cost of the IPO. Yeah. Excluding the commission, a small IPO costs $2 to $3 million total. You don't need the whole amount because some of that fee can be deferred, such as a legal fee. Yeah, but all the you have to pay 100% because they're independent. Yeah.
Right. So many biotech founders dream of Nasdaq, but if they think it's too far away. So are you saying that actually there is a way to fast track them directly and they don't need to pay all these fees?
No, basically, if they have the technology, they have sufficient resources to kickstart the IPO. Nasdaq allow company at any stage to go IPO, regardless of whether you have any income or not. The minimum IPO amount is 15 million, 15.
15. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so what is the advice that you would give some of the founders building the company? You've seen major bubbles, crashes, shifts. How they can survive this volatility of public markets?
Well, there's a IPO window. Means that during certain years you can go IPO, but when the IPO window closes, certain number of years you cannot go IPO. So, for example, during the internet era, a lot of companies that completed IPO before the internet crash survived, and a lot that did not complete IPO failed. So, if a company is raising capital, then they can integrate the IPO plan into their capital raising, and you're not selling a dream to investor that we may go IPO in 3-5 years, but now you have a more concrete plan. You can set a timing. We're going to do the IPO 6 months from now, 1 year from now, or 2 months from now, and then we're raising capital, part to fund the operation, and at a certain point, part will be to fund the IPO. And then by having a concrete plan, it help the company to raise the capital they need. And biotech company survive on capital raised.
True. Okay. Aaron, you took once pre-revenue biotech company with just a 10 or 10.5 million raise, and a few years later it was acquired for over $600 million. Is that right?
No, it was many years later, not just a few years later.
However, what are some lessons from that deal that can apply to founders today?
Well, first of all, they hired the right IPO advisor, Mars Capital, because back then, if they go to Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, no banker would talk to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the only technology they have is a licensing they just bought from the university. That's the only thing they have at the time of IPO.
Right. You mentioned some of the qualities that projects should have, but if you have to pick one for the biotech company, that it has like this IPO DNA, is it a science? Is it the team? Is it the story they convey?
It's a combination of the technology and the team behind it. Because your story, you have to be able to tell the story, the plan, that the company's goal can be realized, and investor needs to be convinced.
Right. Okay. In terms of the founders, is there any particular pattern that you noticed about these individuals that end up?
Ideally, a serial entrepreneur. He already had 2 Nasdaq IPO exit for investors. That would be much better than the first time IPO entrepreneur. Then also their the reputation of some of them are research scientists at major institutions or well-known professor from Harvard, Cambridge, etc. That would be a plus. Yeah. Or if they have patents, or if they at least already in phase 1, rather than just an idea.
Right. Okay. In terms of certain milestones before a biotech company, consider going to Nasdaq, you mentioned that revenue is not necessarily prerequisite. So what are some key milestones?
Well, there is one rule that if your net profit exceeds 750,000 US, then you can do a smaller IPO, like $5-7 million IPO. But most biotech company has no revenue, so there's no profit. The minimum IPO needs to be 15 million for the raise.
For the raise, okay.
That's the new Nasdaq rule. Yeah, before it can be smaller.
Right. Okay.
Before IPO, at IPO, and after IPO, we can work with company, help them promote their stock, help them do subsequent raise, and provide comprehensive advice, even prepare them for litigations, government investigations, M&A, advise them, and we present opportunity for you to help raise capital, either pre-IPO or during IPO. Or post-IPO, yeah.
Yes. With your footprint in US, but also in Hong Kong and China, where do you see the best opportunities for biotech founders to tap into the capital today?
Well, US, it's the biggest equity market, but Hong Kong this year, the IPO raise amount surpassed US again in history, yeah. That's due to a regulation, because SEC wants no more than 30% foreign investment in an IPO, and they have a 5% cap on investor allocation. So you can't, for a huge IPO, if you put a cap on for cornerstone investor, that's going to be a huge problem for the IPO underwriter. So a lot of mid to large IPOs went to Hong Kong.
Right. Okay. Hong Kong. Are there any other emerging innovation hubs that you think will be prominent, like San Francisco, Dubai, Shanghai? Do you see any places where it's good to keep a good eye on?
Well, like the AI applied AI company and biotech company, they can be anywhere in the world.
Yes, true.
Yeah. So we have applied AI 2 clients from London. We have 1 in the US.
Right. Okay. I would ask you, many biotech founders think going public is only for big pharma, well-established company. What is your message to the scientists in the lab right now building a promising therapy, but no clear path to scaling it?
No, we are untraditional investment bank. Basically, company do family and friends round, and then they try to get venture capital. They try to do Series A, Series B. Basically, we skip the Series A, B, C. The Series A is the IPO round to fund the company. Yeah.
Right. In terms of crafting the story, how do you help these founders transform their vision into a story that will excite Wall Street?
Yeah, I would help them prepare their pitch or make it better. For example, the biodelivery IPO, the scientists have a lot of drawings, charts, investor can't understand. But during the roadshow, I explained the idea, the concept in short period of time. And after investor understood, they put up the money. Yep. Right. I can say that again right now. At that time, the drug delivery technology, targeted delivery, it's like a missile, go to wherever your body needs. It's wrapping a form of fat molecules. So minimum amount of drug can have maximum amount of effect, and it's a minimal go to the bloodstream, so have minimum side effect. And more importantly, it is not a new drug; it's a drug delivery tech platform. Because developing a drug going through USDA phase 1 to 4 takes years and hundreds of millions of dollars. But this technology can be used in all existing drugs and future developed drugs. So that lower the risk to the investors. And in the hindsight, the company also licensed the technology to a number of big pharma.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
okay,
well, I was able to explain the technology to the investor that are not that technically oriented. Yeah.
Right. Okay. If a biotech founder listening us today and want to bring their company to Nasdaq, what's the first step they should take?
Well, they gotta show me the presentation deck and last 2 years and this year's historical financial statement. It doesn't matter how it looks, good or bad, but I still need to see it. I have to see the company's ability to at least prepare financial statement.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Aaron.